And we are live now. Here we are, finally. Just once again, 15 minutes late. I should start, dude. Whenever it's me and you, I should tell you we're gonna go live at 7:15. And oh no, tell you we're going live at 6:45. That way we get to we go on at 7.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna have to do that from starting for future, even for tomorrow when we go group stream live. But we're here. It's us, Just Your Average Joe. This is a live stream episode. This is actually the 4th episode we're doing, but this is a live stream version of Galactic Gossip. As always, my co-host from hailing from Queens right now in the comfort of his own home, Mike Castelli. Mike, thanks for being on again.
Being though it's Galactic Gossip, I mean, it wouldn't be a Galactic Gossip unless I did one of these.
I agree. It wouldn't be Galactic Gossip without you showing off one of your toys.
Well, it's not a toy.
Sounds good. It sounds good.
Yep.
It's an elegant weapon for a more civilized time.
That's what they say.
That's what they do say. So, Mike, like I said, once again, thank you for being on. I just wanted to come on here, give us both something to do. If this is your birthday weekend, I also want to extend another happy birthday.
Thanks.
For those of you who do not know Mike personally, he do you mind if I disclose your age, or is that something that
I don't care?
Mike turned the big 40 a couple of days ago. Oh no, wait, yesterday. Yeah, dude, that's how lumped up I literally thought that was 2 days ago.
Well, it feels like it. You don't know.
Then again, I did wish you a happy birthday at midnight on Thursday night, so that's probably why.
That's why, yeah, because I got that in the morning when I woke up. Yeah,
right. But so yeah, once again, happy birthday, dude! Big 40.
Thank you.
I unfortunately I'm not drinking these days. I'm trying to stay hydrated, trying to drink water, but it's actually, you know what? I'm not going to cheers you. I hear it's bad luck to cheers somebody with water, so I'm not going to do that. Okay. So just pretend I'm cheersing if you want to take a sip of your beer or whatever. But yeah, I know, dude. I know it sucks. I know it sucks to be is celebrating your 40th birthday on quarantine. I'm hoping some of your friends maybe come on and shoot you a chat, shoot you a quick comment, stuff like that. But
I mean, it's not a big deal. I think when we do tomorrow's show, it's not going to be Galactic Gossip. I think we're going to get a better turnout. You know, as far as my friends, because not many of my friends are into Star Wars. So, you know.
Same here. I think we're doing this really just for our entertainment and for anybody that catches this show.
Well, whether else is watching,
whether it's live or later on when it's finally up on my channel. But so we planned on talking about obviously Star Wars. I had thought of the idea of, because I put my ranking system on Instagram a while back. So I took a screenshot of that, and I wanted to go over, of course, I mean, all 11 films, not just the 9, and get your take on that, because we haven't done that on any of the other episodes that we've done. Talk about a few other things that they're, that are coming out, new, Star Wars news that have been coming out, whether it's true or not, I have no idea. Obviously, we have The Mandalorian season 2 coming out in a few months, which everybody's looking forward to that. No, it didn't get pushed back.
No? Okay.
No. It is completed. It is done. There should be no problems with it being released. I believe it's scheduled for October, so we should be fine. The one thing that did get messed up was obviously the Obi-Wan series. I think that got messed up even before the quarantine. I think there was problems with the writer or the director or something like that. But so I have no idea when that's coming out. I was looking forward to that even more so than The Mandalorian, to be honest with you. As much as I love the first season, to have an Obi-Wan series with with Ewan McGregor and possibly tie into other characters from that era, I would love that, dude.
That'd be awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Ewan McGregor's the original character that played Obi-Wan in the
yeah.
Okay.
And here we go. And just like I had said,
there he is.
Yep.
Thank you, Jerry.
That's right. And he is correct. We are live. We are late, but we are live. Thanks, Jerry. Thank you. I feel like he's a regular now.
He is a regular. Yeah.
And He's on a Star Wars channel, which you said he's really not a fan of. So
Well, I don't know if he caught before. I don't know if he caught before when I first started up. Just going to show it to him.
I think he did. I think he did.
I don't know if he was on when I.
Hold on, let me see if more picks up from that. Look at that. There you go. Got a little bit of
there you
a.
go. So, just to give you a little.
Nice. Yeah, I'm so glad we were on live for that. So also too, Mike, it's hard to tell because of where we're kind of in the way. But if I take this away, I wanted to have a Star Wars kind of background that's actually Coruscant.
It looked like Bespin for a minute from the.
No, it's Coruscant. If I let me do that. No, obviously that. Why would that work? Why would that do anything? That was ridiculous. But
you can make us smaller. You can see the background.
Yeah, we don't have to do that. But you'll take Galactic. Everybody knows by now it's Galactic Gossip, and if they can't read the title, then that's their problem. But so do you want to jump into it? Do you want to rank your 11, or do you want to?
Well, before we go into the ranking, I did want to mention something I heard. I heard something about a Luke Skywalker
Yes.
series that's coming out.
Yeah, so they want to do, but it wouldn't be a young Luke. It would be just 5 years before The Force Awakens, and
Right.
it's going to cover the fall of Ben Solo, which I think is great. But now here's the thing: is Adam Driver going to reprise the role? Because I heard he doesn't really want to do anything Star Wars now. After the trilogy ended, I know a lot of people weren't happy with some of the things that happened. So I don't know if anybody really wants to return, to be honest with you.
Well, it would be awesome if you have Mark Hamill, do a little bit more than just a little parts that he had in the Force Awakens and
Right.
Rise of Skywalker and and
Well, they were even talking about doing animated to get around the other actors coming in, and I'm not a fan of exactly. That's my point. I'm not a fan of animated. In fact, I was on somebody else's live stream a few days ago, and they were talking about Star Wars or whatever, and I had asked a question. I actually paid a few bucks for that too. They call it super chats, and they're guaranteed to read your question. So whatever, it was $4 or $5, whatever. Yeah. My question was, if you can choose between the two, which one would you pick? And that's the animated series of the Luke Skywalker and Fall of Ben Solo, or a fully restored 4K original, unaltered edition of the original trilogy. Now, I know most people have that on DVD. I do. I get it. I have them somewhere as well. But I'm talking about a fully restored. And I know George Lucas will never release them because he doesn't want to. I don't know if he's just being a dick, but I would honestly.
When you say fully restored, hold on. I'm going to interrupt you for a minute.
Yeah,
when you say fully restored, are you talking about fully restored, meaning the very, very original bare bones without any of the new features in it in 4K?
Yeah. So meaning everything that was originally released in the original trilogy before George Lucas fucked it up. And I'm not talking about the explosions. Some of the things that he altered to make the graphics pop a little bit more, okay. But I'm talking about the CGI that he did afterwards that we talked about already.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm talking about
the R2D2 cave,
yeah,
and Bells and all that
everything,
stuff. Yeah.
Everything that was altered within even the last few years. I mean, he took it upon himself to. I told you he altered for the Disney Plus release of A New Hope. They fucking added another edited scene with Han and Greedo, where Greedo says fucking McClunky before he gets shot. It's it's stupid. It's just and that's what I'm talking about. But yeah, the original, even like the original Return of the Jedi ending with the original music, the nub nub, that song at the end.
Yeah, that was good.
Stuff like that. That's what I'm talking about. So what would you rather? I picked the original trilogy. I get it. It's old. People want new stuff, but I'm just not into animated. I've watched Rebels. I will say I did watch Rebels. I did get into that a little bit and a little of the Clone Wars, but I'm just, I can watch cartoons, but I don't know.
Well, here's the thing. I'm not going to be totally against animated, but when it comes to Star Wars, I don't think it has a spot to be animated because Star Wars was a movie. It's just like you're kind of taking a movie and then you're putting an animated, series or show or episode or whatever you want to call it, in between there to carry on what's really meant to be a movie. Now, I would say if, for instance, I'm I'm a fan of anime. Like, like say there's a movie that just comes out that's animated, like, any of these movies that come out that are just, made as an animated movie, whatever, be it Frozen or whatever, any of these movies. Yeah. Okay. I'm all cool with that. But, what does he say? He doesn't
I mean,
think,
he's got to be joking because I can hear you.
wait, he doesn't hear me?
Wait, Mike, I mean, Jerry, are you being serious? Because I can hear him.
I hope he hears me.
No, yeah, keep talking because I'm pretty sure.
Okay. Oh, look at this. Joe Bugno. Wow.
We got a newcomer. We got a newcomer. He's here to wish you a happy birthday, Mike.
Thanks, Joe. I want to say, I want to give a little quick shout out to my Tigers, Kings out there.
Do it.
Two of the Tiger Kings that I see right now, Joe Mugno and Gerard Norton.
Nice.
TK. That's all I want to say. I hope they can hear me because Jerry said that he didn't hear me, but you could hear me. So I'm assuming that I'm being heard.
Yes, I can hear you. Yeah.
So what I was saying was, animated movies on its own, perfectly fine. When it comes to Star Wars, I think it has to be a movie. And I would 100%, it sounds distant.
Maybe you have to get a little closer. I hear him. In fact, I even took the headphone off a little bit just so I could hear myself talk a little bit. But I hear you.
Does that get any better if I come up on the mic like that? Or?
I mean, obviously, I hear you better with that with doing that. But yeah. See, Nick says he hears you.
Oh, look at that, Nick.
So he hears you. I think you're fine.
Oh, okay.
I think you're fine.
All right. That's weird.
But I do.
We'll see later.
I do agree with you, though. I do agree that we want to see now. Obviously, it's a no-brainer if they turn around and said, "Listen, we can either give you, we're either going to give you the unaltered version of the old movies, or we're going to give you a new movie with either Luke or the fall of Ben Solo." Obviously, it's a no fucking brainer. You're going to take that. I just rather see a movie. I'm not hating on any animated, like you said. But I just prefer, it's a personal opinion, I would just prefer a movie. And I know a lot of other people feel that way too. Or a live action series like Mandalorian.
Yeah.
And then the other option too, a lot of people have been talking about, and this is something that's been going on for a few years now, at least a couple of years. They're saying that they can even do some type of either a CGI or a de-aging process to get a younger Luke, but they can even use Sebastian Stan. Because if you take a young picture of Mark Hamill and you take a picture of Sebastian Stan, they have the same facial features when they overlap. You know Sebastian Stan he's the Winter Soldier.
All right, so here's the thing. I would rather see Mark Hamill do the role of Luke Skywalker if it's going to happen, but I can accept what you're saying because when we looked at the Solo movie, they had a different actor play. I don't know his name, but it obviously wasn't Harrison Ford.
Older,
and he did a good job.
Yeah, but you're right, 100%. I mean, but the thing is, and that's where we get into that whole Irishman thing where you could have used Harrison Ford and you could have de-aged him, but he's still going to look awkward because he's still almost fucking 80 years old.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, and the same thing with Mark Hamill. I'll be okay with them using a combination of the two, but you just can't use Mark Hamill and de-age him and then expect him to be the powerful Jedi right out of Return of the Jedi. It's just not going to work. Right. It's going to look weird. Yeah. That's why I'm all for having a movie set 5 years before The Force Awakens. That way he's still an older Jedi, but you can see him somewhat do whatever, he's doing other than sitting on a fucking island and not wanting to do anything. And you see more of the Knights of the Ren backstory. And you see, I'm trying to do this, but I realize I can't pin my arm like that. You see more of the Knights of Ren backstory, and then you see how Ben Solo was seduced by Snoke and fell to the dark side.
Yeah.
So I think and it might actually benefit fans if it was a series because you can do it, episodic, and you can get if you 45 to an hour show, you can get like a limited series. You can get like a 4 to 6 hour movie.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I'm going to agree with you, man. I'm going to say if I had my choice for it, I'm definitely going to take the remade version of the originals because you can't find them anywhere right now. If you just say you wanted to get them right now, you'd have to buy them on VHS and you have to find them, used. You couldn't get them brand new,
or the DVD. They do have, I did have the
DVDs. Okay.
I did have a DVD one that I bought, Honestly, I can't remember when I got it, and I'm lying. I actually don't have them anymore, and I don't know why I did this. I think once I got the other edition, so I think I had like 3 different versions on DVD of these of this trilogy, and I stupidly tossed. I don't know why I would do this. I stupidly fucking tossed the ones that had the original versions of them.
Well, I'll one up you. I'll one up you on that. You know what I think would even be a better idea if they re-released everything in 4K, right?
Yeah.
Forget about it because I know he's against re-releasing just the original version, but why not bend and give us Bolt on one, 4K Blu-ray or whatever it's going to be called, the 4K. It's 4K Blu-ray, I think, because you know how you can have on the Blu-ray it'll be
Well,
like you play the
Disney
theatrical
Plus,
version,
Disney Plus, Disney Plus has all of them on 4K.
No. But you understand what I'm saying? When you buy the Blu-ray, release the Blu-ray with both versions on it.
Yeah.
So it'd be an incentive to get it. So the people that
No, I
wanted,
understand that. I totally understand. And they should have did that with the Skywalker Saga box set that they got. That was $400 or whatever it was.
That's crazy. That's
With
a lot of money.
$300.
Yeah.
Mike, we got another one for you.
Oh, what's up, Nick? TK, kid.
Derek's in the house as well. Derek was wishing you happy 40th.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, guys. I got my Tigers and my Tiger Cubs in the house here.
They're all wishing a happy birthday from a galaxy far away.
Yep, that's right. And Jerry says I sound like I'm from a galaxy far away, which I hope is not true.
I was about to say that, yeah. No, he said he thinks it's just him. He said in a comment a little further behind, maybe it's me. Everybody else says that they can hear you.
Can you
Nick
guys
said
hear
it.
me?
Joe said it.
Does everybody else hear me just the same volume as Joe's coming in, or am I sounding low? Because if I'm low, I could turn it up a bit.
Because I would love to know if I'm loud or too loud or whatever, because I can't hear what I sound like.
Yeah, neither could I. That's the only downfall with this. Like, I feel like
we can't test our mic levels unless we just go by each other's what each other can hear.
Right, or the little screen thing, which doesn't really tell you much.
No, it tells you if it's loud or not. That's it.
Right. Yeah. If it's on,
But either way, so yeah, I forgot what we were talking about. Nick says loud and clear, buddy.
Okay, good. So it must be Jerry then.
Jerry.
Must be that broken laptop that he purchased.
No, I think it's the Boston Pancake. It might get he might have got a little in his ear.
Yeah, Boston Pancake.
He said,
Joe sounds better.
I'm also like hunched over though and talking over the mic.
Right, so if I get up on the mic like that, does I sound any more louder? I mean, then that's probably going to sound.
Maybe that's what it is. I'm louder and I'm throwing him off.
Well, why? Well, I can make mine louder. No,
don't, because then you'll hear. We already know what happens when you make yours louder.
Yeah.
Then I can hear myself from your.
Unless I lower the headphones.
Your headphones that are on steroids, I guess.
Well, I could lower the headphones. That's what I could do.
I don't know. I think it's fine.
All right. Well, you know what? Yeah, just real quick.
So what were you talking about?
All right.
Can you see? I know it sucks. Trying
to
trying to show everybody my Darth fucking Vader shirt.
Oh yeah.
But Jerry says the Bostonian pancake.
The Empire is most wanted.
Nice. All right, so what were we talking about before we went on your?
We were talking about the movie releases and how what we would prefer. Yeah, what we prefer if we would like the.
They could have done that, but they just don't. He doesn't. He said over and over again he does not want to. He never wants these released out of the vault. I don't know why.
Well, I don't know why either. It's
history.
He wants to change.
It's history.
It is history. So let us have it.
Exactly.
All
right.
So then we were gonna go into the
ranking.
The ranking of the all 11 films and what we thought. Yeah.
Yes. I don't want to do one and then you do one unless you want to do it that way, or you can just name your 11. It's starting at I'm going to start at the bottom.
Okay. So you want to go first? Go ahead.
Yeah, sure. I'll go. Do you want me to read all 11? Or you want to go side by side?
Well, let's go side by side. That keeps it more interesting.
All right. So my number 11 is Solo. I not because it's a bad movie. It's just because it was a movie that I really didn't want. I really didn't care about. It was good. It could have been better, but Solo was definitely my number 11.
All right. So my number 11, I'm going to probably say is going to be the Clone Wars.
Okay. Yeah. Wait, Clone Wars? You mean Attack of the Clones?
Oh, sorry, Attack of the Clones.
I know
That's what
what
I
you,
meant
I
to
know
say.
what you meant. I know your body. Don't
Episode
worry
2,
about it.
Attack of the
Yeah,
Clones. I don't know why I
I
said
got
Clone
you.
Wars. Yeah.
All right. Well, my number 10 is exactly that, Attack of the Clones. I think it's out of the 9 films of the Skywalker saga, it's definitely the worst.
Okay.
I don't hate it. I'll watch it, obviously, because I don't hate any of these movies. I've watched them more than once, including
Mhm.
Solo. But Attack of the Clones, yeah, easily the weakest of the 9.
Okay.
So what's
So
your
that's your
10?
number 10, right?
Yeah.
So my 10, I'm gonna say, is gonna be The Phantom Menace.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you just hate the fucking prequels altogether.
No, I don't hate
Okay.
the prequels. Yeah.
All right. Well, my number 9 is Phantom Menace. Because again, I actually don't think it's that bad of a movie.
Mhm.
I prefer it over Attack, but you know, it's how many times am I going to say it, man? All the CGI and everything from that prequel trilogy just didn't do it for me. It had nothing to do with the characters. I'm not hating Ahmad Best for being Jar Jar. Jar Jar was annoying, but you know, that's not what did it. It was just the complete oversaturation of CGI.
Well, that's why I said Attack of the
Yeah,
Clones,
yeah, yeah.
because that had the most CGI, I think, out of all of them.
All right, and well, especially that huge Jedi fight scene and everything.
Yeah, it's crazy.
What's your number 9?
So my number 9, it's gonna be a tough one. It's gonna be a tough one, but I'm gonna probably
What she said.
say, yeah, I'm gonna probably have to go with the Solo movie for number 9.
Okay, yeah, I definitely it definitely belongs in that bottom 3, no
Mhm,
doubt. All right, my number 8 is The Last Jedi. Definitely my least favorite of the new trilogy.
mhm,
It's not a bad movie. I don't hate it. I don't hate people that enjoy it. I can actually have a conversation with you, unlike some people that I know, or I don't know, I should say, just random people that like this movie or love this movie. And if you say anything, not even bad about it, but if you just have anything to say that you don't like about it, they're like, "Oh, I can't fucking talk to you." So even for that alone makes me put Last Jedi in the number 8 spot.
okay. My number 8, I'm gonna have to probably put, it's a tough one. It's gonna be between The Force Awakens. No, I'm sorry, no. It's gonna be between The Last Jedi and Rogue One. I'm gonna probably put The Last Jedi I'm gonna probably put The Last Jedi. You know what? I'm gonna have to put Rogue One. I'm
For
gonna
number
put Rogue
8.
One there. Yeah, for number 8, I put Rogue One.
All right. I mean, that's your
Yeah.
prerogative. We're not too far off, dude. Honestly, we're not too far off. My number 7 is Rogue One.
Okay.
I think Rogue One is definitely one of the better newer Star Wars movie we got. And
Mhm,
I know that doesn't make any sense. Then why do I have it number 7?
mhm,
Below these other movies. But for me, I just really don't care about the characters. I don't. That's another thing too. Like the Cassian and Andor series that's supposed to be coming out on Disney Plus. I
mhm.
couldn't care less. Or no, I couldn't care less. Um, it's just these characters really I didn't give a shit about. I didn't. And the one scene that they tried to make you pump for, the Darth Vader scene at the end, is the best scene, and it's also the worst scene. And why I say
Mhm,
that is we finally get to see what Darth Vader looks like in all his power and all his glory, in a newer decade where the graphics are a little bit better and they actually show you him being a fucking badass. But then if you tie it into and you watch, if you were to sit down and watch Rogue One, and then you finish it after seeing the way Vader handled all those people in the corridor, and then you watch the beginning of A New Hope, it's a completely different person.
yeah.
He's choking people. He looks stiff. It looks like a completely different person because it's an outdated movie. I love it. I love A New Hope, but it doesn't go together, and that's why Rogue One for me is number 7.
Okay.
What's your number 7?
So my number 7,
I think you just said right. I guess it would be The Last Jedi now,
well, yeah, it'd be The Last Jedi. Yeah.
right? Because you said it was going to either be on the 8 or
Right. It was either gonna be Last Jedi or Rogue One, and I put Rogue One in there and put The
right.
Last Jedi on top of that, yeah.
And it makes sense. And again, like I said, and I know you don't hate The Last Jedi either. You actually said you liked it.
I did like it, yeah.
It's just for me, there was so many things that The Force Awakens set up, and then The Last Jedi comes around, and it's a good movie by itself, but it just completely fucking ditches whatever they set up.
We
in
thought we were
7.
going to see more lightsaber battles. We thought Luke was going to
Yeah.
be more prominent than what he was. But, you know,
Yeah.
that being said, that was one of the those are some of the parts of it that I didn't like or I didn't
Right.
care for. But, you know, at
Right.
the end of the day, you
It's
know,
still good. It was
it's
still
still gonna
good.
be a good movie.
And the
We
things we
needed
didn't
it,
like
you
about
know?
it were personal things that we wanted to see.
Right.
So I don't know. All right, so
Yeah.
my number 6 is The Rise of Skywalker. I did enjoy it a little bit more than The Last Jedi, obviously, but for me, it didn't end the saga. Well, first of all, it didn't end the trilogy well, which was 3 movies, and it certainly didn't end a 9-film Skywalker saga well for me either.
Mhm.
It was fun. It was enjoyable. I liked certain things that JJ did, whether it was course corrections from The Last Jedi or just other things in general. But again, like I said, overall, it did not end the trilogy or the saga for me. So that's why it's my number 6.
Okay. My number 6, I'm gonna have to go with it's a tough one now. My number 6, I'm gonna go with The Force Awakens.
Okay, wait, hold on a second. We got Nick saying he doesn't know much about Star Wars, but you're his Luke Skywalker.
Thanks, buddy.
Derek found that funny because I definitely found that funny. What was your? I'm sorry because I got lost in that funny comment. What was your number 6?
Number 6 was Force Awakens.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. We're up to number 5. Number 5 for me is Revenge of the Sith.
Okay.
Easily my favorite movie of the prequels. It was a movie that I was definitely looking forward to. You and I went to see it in the movie theaters.
Yeah,
We finally got to see how Anakin became Darth Vader. And it had an awesome lightsaber battle between him and Obi-Wan. It had a really good space battle in the very beginning. I enjoyed it, but again, still oversaturated with CGI. And I get why you needed it for some things, but I just think it was overkill in the prequels. So that's why it's my number 5, but still a really good movie.
And my number 5 is going to be the same, Revenge of the Sith.
Okay, good.
And I, honestly, I do remember the day we went to go see that. I got out of work.
I remember the underwear I was wearing that day.
Yeah, we went to that movie theater in Manhattan.
Yeah. Well, we were in Chelsea, weren't we?
Yeah.
Yes, that's why I didn't wear underwear.
Yeah, I think that's where it was. If I remember right, we were lucky. We got 2 seats that were together, and there was nobody next to us
because it was a wheelchair. We were sitting in a wheelchair.
Wheelchair seating.
We call it the love seat, but it was we fucked over somebody that was trying to get in with a wheelchair.
There was nobody trying to get in with a wheelchair.
No one.
Yeah. But I remember that was very exciting. That was a great time, man.
I loved it, dude. When you first heard his breath and you actually see it moving the steam or whatever that was above his helmet.
I went from 6 to midnight when I heard that.
I definitely did. I went from 0 to 3.
Yeah.
Okay. So
inches, that is.
Exactly. My number 4 is The Force Awakens.
Okay.
Force Awakens was my favorite of the new trilogy. I really liked the way JJ incorporated although we never saw them together, but I love the way they did incorporate the older characters, even though Luke Skywalker was fucking not even in the movie until the very end. That was my only disappointment. That's why I was looking forward to The Last Jedi so much. But I loved Kylo Ren. I loved the powers that they showed, the new force powers or whatever that he portrayed. And it just made me want to see even more of what that character could do. And the fact that he's Vader's my all-time favorite character. I mean, whether it's a villain or just overall in Star Wars, he's easily my favorite. So the fact that he's related and he's the grandson of Vader just obviously made me like him even more. So Force Awakens is my number 4.
Okay. My number 4 is going to be, of course, there's only one other choice it could be, and that's The Rise of Skywalker. And the reason why I'm going to put Rise of Skywalker number 4 is because The Return of the Emperor, I know that it gets rhetorical where he shoots the lightning and it's the same kind of nonsense how he goes down. He goes down that way all the time.
Same thing.
Lightning.
Yeah.
Same thing. But I mean, at the part of the movie, and I'll tell you what really did it for me, and you mentioned this before, the part of the movie that really got me going, and I had to put that ahead of because it was very close between that and Revenge of the Sith. But what really puts that above Revenge of the Sith for me is when the Emperor's talking and he says, "I am all the voices that you heard," and he says, "I am Vader, I am," and the voice changes, "I'm Snoke," and all these different things. That was just badass. And then just to see the Emperor, and when he comes back and he's just like, dude, the Emperor is probably one of my favorite, villains of the Star Wars, movies. It's just the laugh, the little gestures, the do it, ha, you know what I mean? The laugh, just the ha, 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 that laugh that he does.
You're not the only one. There are a lot of people that like Palpatine, or even people that love the fact that he returned.
Right. And even as a character, even as the character Palpatine before he got maimed and everything, from the lightning. Even when he was in the Senate and everything, he just had that weaselly villain type kind of background to him, that you felt it in the backstory. Like, this guy just is bad. He's a bad dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this guy could wreak some havoc. And although he's an older guy, you just know that there's something behind him that's just so powerful that it's just going to come out, and you're going to see it, and you do see it. So yeah, that's why I'm going to put Rise of Skywalker, simply just for the return of the Emperor, and I do like the switching of Ben Solo when Kylo Ren becomes Ben Solo again. He's I do like when he teams up with Rey, and I do like that kind of like the role reversal where we hoped Vader would be good. I mean, he kind of did it, but he did it a little bit sooner than Vader. He didn't turn into like a Sith, well, he was a Sith, but you know what I'm saying.
No, he was never a Sith. He was never a Sith.
Well, he wasn't a Sith?
No.
He was, that's right. He was the First Order.
Right. Yeah, he was never a Sith. He was a supreme leader.
Supreme leader of the First Order.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, but it's basically the same thing though, because we know the First Order was basically,
basically,
the Empire.
Basically.
Yeah. So, but you know what I'm saying? He didn't go that far gone where he was like, he was like a robot, like, half man, half machine, like Vader, where he was so far gone, he was still always on the fence, where Vader was completely turned. And then he kind of came back a little bit.
They didn't do that to any characters in either of these movies, in either of the three. Nobody lost a limb. Mm-hmm. Nobody had any mechanical or bionic, limbs or whatever. Mm-hmm. So
which is good, because they can't do that in every movie. I think it was good that they didn't do that.
They can't.
That's a little bit much.
I'm not saying that they had to, but I mean, nobody was, and I get what you're saying, but I don't know, man. Like I said, there was a lot of things that I did love about that movie, but the Emperor coming back, the only good thing about that is, and like you said, how he's badass and how it basically proves that behind every single bad thing that's happened from episodes 1 to 6, 1 to 9 now, it's always been him. He's always been behind it. So it does make sense why they did it, but whatever. But I understand. I understand why you like the Emperor.
Okay.
All right. So my number 3, if you would have asked the child version of me way back when, I probably would have said Empire Strikes Back is number 3. But as I got older, I started to really favor Vader, and I really favored the darker and, the more, I guess that's the best way to say it, the more darker film. So for my number 3 is got to be now Return of the Jedi, because when I was younger, I think that was my favorite. And only because that's when you see Vader redeemed. That scene where he picks up the Emperor and tosses him over and saved his son is one of my favorite scenes in Star Wars overall. Obviously the iconic scene when he tells Luke he's his father is probably the best. But if I had to pick an overall great scene below that, it's definitely easily the scene in Return of the Jedi where he redeems himself and he saves his son. I even like, and not many people talk about this, another scene that's my favorite from that movie is when Luke turns himself in, tries to bring his father back, telling him that he feels the conflict or whatever. And he says, "It's too late for me, son." When he basically, the Emperor is your master now. And he summons him. Well, then the stormtroopers are going to take him up, the elevator. And he says, my father is truly dead. And then Luke goes up in the elevator with the stormtroopers up to where the Emperor is. And Vader leans over the side, and you see he he basically puts his head down, and you can see him. That's the moment where he's starting to turn. That's when he starts to realize that, there is still Anakin inside, and that is his son. And he basically, that was like a slap in the face from Luke. So that scene is probably another reason why that Return of the Jedi is number 3 and was my favorite for a while.
Okay, so my number 3. Now, if you're going to ask a younger me when I first started watching,
I already know what you're going to say. I already know what your number 3 is, but go ahead.
I want to see how well you know my number 3.
Well, didn't you say A New Hope? Because you didn't think it was interesting?
Well, this is the tough. Now that we're putting it in Spectrum out of the top 11, I'm going to have to make some changes. And I know I've said that in the past, that it was my least of the 3. If you're just on the 3 alone, out of the 3 was my least favorite.
But we're up to the 3. We're up to
right.
The main, they're the only ones left.
Right. But in the grand spectrum of things, I think if you weigh it against the other ones,
okay.
Because if you're just going against the 3, then I think it changes. If you're putting it against the other movies, I think it's going to change. And I'm going to explain to you why.
Okay.
Because a younger Mike, when I was a kid, would have said 100% I would have put A New Hope as my 3rd. Then, and I'm not going to tell you what the other ones were. I would have put New Hope as my 3rd. Okay. But I'm going to tell you right now, and I probably would have put as a younger kid, I probably would have put. I don't want to get ahead of myself.
I understand. But stick to.
I would put A New Hope as number 3,
and that's what I was having trouble with too. Is where to put A New Hope now.
Right, and I was a huge fan of the Return of the Jedi, and I think the reason why Return of the Jedi was such a huge fan is because that was the most new one that came out when I was younger.
Right.
So it was like the more recent one, so you'd watch that newer one a lot more.
Plus, it was the first time we saw Jabba the Hutt. Because we kept hearing about him.
Right.
I was a fan of the Ewoks when I was younger. I don't hate them, but I mean, I really don't care about them now as an adult. But I understand what you're saying.
Right. So that's the reason why Return of the Jedi was really good for me when I was younger. But I'm going to put Return of the Jedi as my number 3 now.
Okay.
And the reason being, because yes, I said that A New Hope had a boringness to it. It does. I still believe that the end of it kind of like it's really, really interesting. And then it kind of drops off and kind of levels out and then kind of just ends for me.
Right.
But that's for me. But at the end of the day, it is still probably the most watched Star Wars. I've watched them all thousands of times. I probably watched A New Hope, even just from the beginning to the parts that where it gets slower for me, probably watched that like hundreds of times, thousands of times, like just that one movie. And it just, every time I watch it, it gets my attention. I could sit down and just watch it. I know what's going to happen, and I could just blank myself out and just take it like as if it's the first time I'm watching it. And it is the one movie that started them all. So yeah, I can't put that as number 3 out of the whole spectrum of them. And especially now that I've matured and I understand that, I can't put A New Hope as number 3.
Got it. Well, I mean, once you say number 2, obviously everybody who knows Star Wars is going to know what our number 1 is, but my number 2 is A New Hope. And just for the same reason you said it, the reason why it's not number 3, even though the Vader scenes in Return of the Jedi for me are way better than anything in A New Hope, but it is a classic. It's what started it all off. Leia for me was hot, probably the hottest for me in that movie. Even though I know everybody loves her in the
Return of the Jedi.
In Return of the Jedi in the slave outfit or whatever.
That was my favorite, yeah.
Can we say that? Is that politically correct? Slave outfit?
Yeah, no, she was a slave of Jabba.
Okay. I just don't want to ruffle any feathers. But ironically for me, and I know I'm probably going to sound like a sick fuck, dude, when she's in the prison cell and Luke comes in, well, no, actually, when Vader came in to interrogate her and torture her, I used to like that scene when I was a kid. I know most kids would be like, oh man, I'm scared of that. I was like, oh, I kind of want to see her being tortured. But anyway, when Luke comes to save her and she's just laying there, dude, in that white outfit. Oh man. She was Carrie Fisher.
Carrie Fisher was very attractive.
Yeah. I mean, I know she was like 18, 19 when that first movie came out, but
she was hot.
That was crazy. Yeah. But yeah, dude, everything you said about The New Hope makes sense. It's the first one that started it all off. It's a classic. It's one of the most watched for me. No, maybe my number 1 beats that, but at least the second most. So that's why it's number 2 for me.
Yeah. And I'm going to say the same thing. I'm going
Yeah,
number 2 with A New Hope, and
I figured
probably
that.
for all the reasons that you just said.
Right. I figured that. And we all know what number one is. I mean,
Yeah.
it's probably number one for so many people. I know, look, I know there are different generations. I know a lot of people like the prequels more than the original trilogy, whether you're born into the prequel era or you were just a like a late bloomer, and you said, you know what, let me see what all this buzz is. I know Frank just recently, after years of me telling him, because he's a big Game of Thrones fan. I'm sorry, Lord of
Yeah.
the Rings fan, stuff like that. But I was like, dude, you gotta watch Star Wars. You gotta watch Star Wars. And he
He never
finally
watched it?
watched, dude. He finally binge watched all of them, and then watched Rise of Skywalker in the movies. And he said he likes the newer movies better, and I get it. I understand, because if you don't watch the original trilogy as they came out when they first did, it's hard. It's hard to watch it. I get it. The fight scenes are very stiff. Um, the graphics aren't all that well. It's it's a little outdated, but I still enjoy it, and I actually liked the practicality of those graphics and of those movies over the CGI saturated prequels,
It
and
just works. It just works
it
in those
does.
movies. Yeah.
And that's why I do enjoy some of most of, well, I guess all three of them, just not all of them the same way. That's why I enjoy the sequel trilogy as well, because they combined, I think, perfectly the CGI use and the practical effects.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really all dependent on when you started to watch these. If you watch these as a kid, if you're our age and you watched the original trilogy at a younger age when it was first released, whether it was in theaters or on VHS like we did, then you probably appreciate it more.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well, like I said, I mean, I said it once before when we were talking in another episode of Galactic Gossip. I think it was the second episode of Galactic Gossip, or maybe the first episode.
could be, well, the
And
third.
yeah, it could have been one of them.
I mean, we only
But
did, this is only our fourth one, so one
right.
of those.
But I remember saying what I liked about it is how it worked with the kind of corny. I don't want to say corny, but like the effects of the time period worked with it because it gave it that feel. Because remember, it's from a galaxy. It's a long time ago in a galaxy far away. A lot of people think of it as the future because
No,
it's
we're in the
futuristic.
future. Yeah, no, we are.
But but we're actually, this is from a long time ago. So
Right.
those little kind of effects, it kind of just works with it. It's weird. And I think at that time period in the 80s, and the 70s, the late 70s, early 80s, when you watch these movies, I think that kind of stuff was kind of cutting edge, but it kind of still had a feel of something that was older,
Right.
But at the end of the day, the thing is this, it's the same type of feel as like if you watch like the original Star Trek episodes, like the original series,
Which I never did.
I'm a huge fan. I love Star Trek as well. And I know that's usually like a
I noticed
contradiction
that. I noticed that because you tend to bring up Star Trek on Galactic Gossip, and I don't know why you keep doing that.
Because it's still a galaxy thing,
I know, but
it's in the same genre. Well, that's the thing. I know that generally speaking, a lot, if you're either one or the other, you're either a Star Wars fan or a Star Trek fan, and they usually hate each other.
I don't
whatever.
hate people that like Star Trek. I just
No,
I can't talk about it because I don't know anything about it.
I'm saying fans are usually against each other.
Yes.
Like that movie Fanboys. Yeah. There's usually a rivalry between fandom.
There is. There is.
Right.
I agree.
But what I'm going to say is it's the same thing with those Star Trek episodes and even the movies. They have that old, like the movies are more modern with the technology of the time. So I don't want to say that, but the episodes, they had that cheesy like effects, but because it was in the 60s, they didn't really have the technology, but it just works. And I could watch those over and over and over again.
Right.
And it still catch my attention and be like, wow, that's pretty cool. Like, I can't believe that it's corny, but yeah, it works for that. I could see that working, Well, and it's the same thing with Star Wars.
But then that's why I was saying about the prequels like, it's not that I hate the movies. It just, if you're watching them in a continuity kind of thing,
it's out of continuity.
It's way out of continuity because it's the prequels are supposed to be before the movies that we just watched as a kid, and yet they're better. Right, everything's more advanced. The technology is advanced. What they're using is advanced. The Jedi powers are more advanced. It made no sense. They should have did it more raw. George Lucas should have made it raw and scaled back and made it look
right. Well, that's what the sequels did. The sequels did that a little bit better. They were still modern, but they had that touch to it.
They did.
They did a better job with the
And
sequels than they did with the prequels.
I agree 100%.
Yeah.
I do. I
But
definitely agree 100%.
let's face it though. When the prequels came out, the market, the movie market was all CGI movies.
I know.
In order to make it and be a big hit, they had to do that.
No, I get it. It was a technology thing. They wanted to show off what they can do. The same way what do you call it? Oh God.
And I'll be honest, I think back then, when I watched them back then, I was excited for the new effects. I was like, man, this is cool. It's like watching Star Wars, but it's like if it was made right now.
What's the old effects studio that they used in the original? Why the fuck can't I think of his name?
What do you mean?
Not Light Magic. What was the not THX, whatever. What at the time when Star Wars first came out, that was the new thing too. What they did, even though it looks,
I know what you're talking about. For the lightsabers and stuff and the lasers and stuff.
I think it is ILM, or that's what they use now. Industrial Light and Magic or something like that.
I'm not sure. I'm not going to say it because I'm not sure.
I'm not sure either.
Yeah.
But, at the time, that was also acceptable. It just, I don't know, man. I get it. But also, too, I think it still would have worked because you still had... look, Star Wars was a huge hit. And you can even say lightning in a bottle, especially with Empire Strikes Back. You're not going to get another twist like that. You're not. You're just not. Yeah. They tried it in the new sequel trilogy, with Rey being the granddaughter of Palpatine, which was, whatever. Okay, we saw that coming. They tried it with the death of Snoke, which was a cool scene, but it's still you're not going to replicate what the original trilogy did. And I'm not saying that that's what they were trying to do. But what I'm saying is that now you have a prequel trilogy. Now you have movies that are coming out almost 20 years since the last one, which was in 83, which was Empire Strikes Back, because Phantom came out in 99. So you got a 16-year gap, right? You're going to tell me the people that watched that weren't going to go and it wasn't going to be successful had they still had, I'm not saying it had to be the same corniness and the same, scruffy looking graphics.
I know what you're saying. People,
but they didn't have to go. They didn't have to go all out. I think it would have been a little bit more successful if. And that might just be my opinion, but I think they could have even did better.
Well, I think what it is I think they realized that the stories were weak to begin with, so they were trying to build them up with the special effects.
That's because George Lucas wrote them.
Well, he wrote the originals.
No, he did not.
Well,
the characters. He built the world. Yeah. He built the world, but he only wrote, I believe, A New Hope, and then I think Kasdan wrote. I know Kirshner directed Empire, and I believe Lawrence Kasdan wrote and produced Empire.
That's something I didn't even know, and that's why I like when we talk about this stuff because you know this stuff. You know these people. I don't even know that.
And I think Marquand or Marquand, I don't know his I don't know how to pronounce his last name. He was the director of Return of the Jedi. So Lucas only directed the first one, and again, I still think it's the second best, but. He really, as a storyteller, he's good, but as a screenwriter, no. The dialogue was horrible in the prequels. Everybody complained and said that it was Natalie Portman. They blamed Hayden Christensen. They blamed other characters, but guess what? It wasn't them. It was the direction. I fucking hate that I can't do it. Plus the mic is right in front of my face too. It was the direction, and it was It was the screenplay. It was the writing. It was horrible. And I blame that. I love George Lucas. Don't get me wrong. He's a brilliant man. And without him, we wouldn't be talking about this right now.
Right.
But, his ideas are gold, but it's just, I don't know. And I'm glad. I'm really glad they didn't take most of his story points for the newer trilogy. I'm not saying he might have done a little bit better than what we got, but from what I heard and what he wanted to do with the midichlorians and shit like that, or the Knights, not the Knights, what is it? The Wills?
Oh,
the Wills or whatever they were. I'm not saying that wouldn't have been a good story because that was mentioned in Rogue One, but I don't know. I know I'm just ranting or whatever, but they're just. I love the 11 movies all differently. And just because they are part of that Star Wars history and they're a part of the Star Wars library, but there's just so many things that I wanted differently.
Well, Well, how about how about we explain why Empire Strikes Back, why is that the number one that we put it there? Why, what made it your number one? What
It's
about
the best.
Empire
I think
Strikes
it's
Back?
the best. I think it's the best written one. That's number
Okay.
one. It has some of the most iconic scenes. It has the most like I mean, it has the most quoted, I should say most misquoted line, I think in all of Star Wars, maybe even all of movie history with no, I am your father, because everybody thinks he says, Luke, I am your father. He says, no, I am your father.
Mhm.
That you're not going to get a more iconic line. And it just whether it's the
Wait,
twist.
don't, let's not forget. No.
Yeah, it's well, he says it a little bit more whiny than that, but
I know.
uh look, it was a lot of reasons why. And when I was younger, as I said, Return of the Jedi was probably more of my favorite. Because like you said, we were a little bit older because that came out when we were about 5 or 6, and or at least for me. And I didn't see it in the theater, so I didn't see it probably until about 2 years later or so, um, on VHS. So that was a movie that I watched as at an older age, so I understood it a little bit more. Um, and dude, I gotta tell you, man, I that scene when Vader saves his son in Return of the Jedi still makes me cry. It gives me chills and I tear up.
Yeah,
And
me too.
and it makes you tear up even more. And I will say another good thing about the prequels is that it really does put Anakin's fall and suffering in so much more perspective, and it makes you feel that much more for Vader because of it. Because he really wasn't I mean, he was power hungry, and he had that about him because he was a very strong Jedi, the strongest, if you ask me. But because of the suffering his mom went through, he was a slave as a child. He didn't really have a father figure besides Obi-Wan. Even though he said Obi-Wan was more like a brother, but he grew up with Obi-Wan was that male figure that was older for him.
Mhm.
And him losing Padme and stuff like that, all he wanted to do was stop the people that he loved from dying. And he was tricked. He was literally tricked into thinking that if he follows this way, if
He's
he
gonna have the
becomes a
power to
Sith,
bring people back from the dead
exactly,
and
yeah.
stop people from dying.
But he was never told that the way to cheat death is to fucking transfer your fucking essence to somebody's body.
Basically possession.
Yeah. So it just made you. It really did make you feel that much more for Vader. So
Yeah,
But dude, it just Empire Strikes Back for everything I just mentioned. The
right.
iconic scenes, the huge twist that no Star Wars movie is really going to ever be able to replicate, or any other movie for that matter. I'm not saying that other movies haven't had big twists. I mean, look at A Sixth Sense. Spoiler alert: he was dead the whole time. You know,
Mhm,
there are movies that are going to have twists, but just nothing like that. Nobody saw that coming. At least I don't. I don't think they did.
mhm.
I mean, then again, they didn't have YouTube and social media to spoil it.
Yeah. Well, I think I'll explain now why I thought that as my number one.
Oh, tell me, big boy.
Um, I'll tell you. All right. So here's the thing. Out of the trilogy, and I'm talking about the original series.
I got you. Yeah.
Actually, we could go out of the entire 11 movies.
We
Actually,
can easily.
yeah. My favorite two like planet scenes that I thought were just really cool happened in Empire Strikes Back. The
Yeah.
first would be Hoth.
Hoth, right?
That was just so cool, man. Where there's an ice planet where they're frozen, and there's those creatures that I forgot what they called them. The ones that they're riding on, where he had to kill it to like keep them
Tauntauns.
warm.
Tauntauns.
Tauntauns. Yeah, those things. I thought that was so cool. When I was younger, even now, I just that was pretty cool. Where there was the Wampa in the Wampa cave, that whole scene with the Wampa,
Yeah, but I
and then
liked it. I liked the original one where you didn't actually see the fucking Wampa.
You saw the Wampa,
No, you never did. You saw. You don't see what he looks like. You just see his arm cut off. You see shadows. You see him moving, but you actually never see him in the edited version. In the altered versions, it. Don't get me wrong. Is it
I
cool?
could have sworn you always saw the Wampa, dude, because
No,
it was a figure. When I was a kid, I had the figure of the
I'm sure they
Wampa.
came up with a scene, but they didn't actually show it to you until I think he was right in front of Luke's face.
Right.
But In the
But you see him though.
altered versions, you see him eating the
Right.
whatever.
Yeah, he was never eating that.
He was eating the thing, and then you see him
Yeah.
move towards Luke. I think at the very end, you see him going to grab Luke, and then you see Luke
Right.
swing,
Just
and then
take
the
the arm off.
yeah, and then the
Right,
falling
right.
arm. So you're right. I
Well,
think you do see his face briefly,
you
but
do see it
nothing.
because
Yeah,
I know you definitely see it because I know that there was a figure.
but I prefer that over the altered.
Okay. So, you had that. There was that, right? You also had the number one, like when I was a kid, let's face it, what really made Star Wars for me was the lightsabers. I mean, that was just the most coolest thing in the world was the lightsabers and the battles. You know, that was what really made Star Wars for me as a kid. I love that stuff. So when I was a kid, I didn't even know it. Like up until I got a little older, I never even realized that there was different versions of the lightsaber throughout the trilogy. Like, yes, there's a green one and a blue one, but I thought it was the same one. You don't think about these things when you're a kid. As you get older, you start to notice the details. As you watch it a couple of times, you start to see the differences in the lightsabers. You get more into it. You learn more about it. You read about them. In the off things that I was telling, or like the books or comics or whatever, or just online in general, you start learning about this stuff, and
Right.
you realize, hey, wait a second, there's differences between these lightsabers. And like I said right here, like the inspiration for this one right here, this is the Empire Strikes Back lightsaber. I actually went and I built an identical 1-to-1 point replica of that lightsaber.
Do you
And
just say 1.21?
No, 1.21 gigawatts. No, I said
1.21 gigawatts.
I said a 1-to-1 point.
Gotcha.
Replica.
I'm joking. I heard you.
Yeah. Okay. So even as much as when you're seeing it in the cave and you see the end of the lightsaber sticking out, I followed with this lightsaber. I did all the details based on that Wampa scene. So that was the one where you could see it the most close, up close and really get the detail on it. So I made this one from that scene because that's the one that I could honestly get the best view of.
Are you telling me why you loved Empire Strikes Back, or you plug in your lightsaber?
No, I'm saying the lightsaber had a lot to do with the reason why I liked it, and that's the reason why
I agree 100% with you. Yeah,
it is my favorite lightsaber out of all the three lightsabers that were,
But you like that one better than Luke's green one, right?
Yes, yeah. I mean Luke's green one was cool, but I don't know. It looked like a flashlight.
It did. I mean, I'm also not a fan. I like blue over green anyway. I was more a fan of the color.
I just like the shape of this.
The shape of that is the best.
This looks more like, and the grips and the shape looks more like it would be actually like a real weapon. Like, it would function. That other one is a little too dinky.
And it's not that much dissimilar from Vader's lightsaber either.
Right, because they were all based on the same tube.
Right.
The Graflex tube.
Except for the color.
They made them at the same props. Yeah. But I mean, and I love Vader's saber too as well. I love that too.
Well, what about the scenes?
That's what?
What about the scenes in the movie?
Well, yeah, the scenes in the movie, like I said, the Wampa Cave scene was a great one. Also, Bespin. That was another one of the planets. That
city.
Yeah, the Cloud City. That was one of the coolest scenes. When they're fighting in Cloud City, that scene at the end where he's fighting, where Luke loses his hand. Like, you don't really think that Vader. You know that you're kind of starting to know that he's this father and everything, right? You're getting the idea that he's his father, and you don't think he's going to actually cut his hand off. You know what I mean? So, I mean, that battle between Luke and Vader was very, very awesome. Especially with the Emperor.
One of my favorite scenes in that scene that you're talking about when they're fighting, when he comes out of that lit tunnel, and he turns around, Vader's behind him, and he goes to attack. And I think it's the first time. I know you see Vader using force powers.
Where he pushes the thing at him?
But as he's fighting with the lightsaber, he's also using the force, and he's sending objects at Luke where Luke is swinging at those.
Right.
And then eventually Vader just lowers his lightsaber down altogether and just starts sending everything off the walls.
Right.
That was one of my favorite scenes because you didn't see that in A New Hope.
Right.
Where he's using the force to move objects. I love that. And actually, that's actually one of my favorite scenes in Phantom Menace. And one of my favorite battles because it has not only has Duel of the Fates playing, but with the Maul fighting both Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon. But when Darth Maul is going to enter another room, he takes something that's on the floor and flicks it with the force to jam and open up the doors with the switch on the side. And it was little things like that, man, that made me love And that's what I wanted more from the sequel trilogy. I wanted those force powers, and that one scene from Empire Strikes Back was definitely fucking awesome, and just showed how powerful Vader was.
Scenes. Yeah, it's one of the best scenes, and that's what I like. Has the movie built up towards that scene?
Right.
Remember, I told you like A New Hope. It kind of built up in the beginning, and then for me plateaued at the end. That kind of built up, and then it was there. You know what I mean? Just like Return to the Jedi did that same thing. It built
and
up,
then, like you said, dude, like you said, I mean, it made people hate Vader even more because he cut Luke's fucking hand off.
Right.
And then you find out he's his son, but I mean, you don't know. Yeah, but then you find out. But then the other thing is too, and again, there was no social media, there was no YouTube, there was no nothing. People had to wait 3 years for Return of the Jedi to come out because everybody didn't know whether Vader was fucking lying or not. It could have been a lie. I know people left that fucking movie saying there's no way he's fucking with him. There's no way that's his father. So, you know, that's definitely that.
Empire Strikes Back is just it's a classic. I think it's that middle gold. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You know, and that's why I did appreciate Rogue One for what it was, for the time that it was set in, to seeing those old characters again. They did the graphics, they did they did everything right. They made it look grimy, they made it look older, which is what I thought could have been used in other movies, especially the prequels. But
especially the prequels, yeah.
Just in that one scene with Vader, even though it doesn't make any sense continuity wise, that one scene in the corridor where he's just fucking hacking away. I wish they would do a Vader live series, and we talked about this before. I would definitely, they should do something like that for Disney Plus.
I think they should do all the main characters a series like that
to show him going and executing the remaining Jedi after Episode 3. Why the fuck not?
Yeah.
It's just they're going to have to do that, because I'm not saying that they don't have so much they could talk about. They can obviously go and tell the stories of the Old Republic. They could talk about the first Jedi and the first Sith. They can get into those stories, and that's going to be very interesting. But you also want to sprinkle in a little bit of the familiar, a little bit.
You know what I'd like to see? And maybe it's because The Mandalorian brings the child in, and it shows like what they call Baby Yoda, but it's actually the child.
The child.
I'd like to see a movie based on like the origins of Yoda. We know nothing about Yoda.
Well,
what about his planet?
This might tell. The Mandalorian might actually tell that story.
Maybe, but The Mandalorian is after Yoda, though.
No, I know, but they can also. I'm assuming they might touch up on where the child is from, what species he is.
Right, but what about a young Yoda? How did Yoda become a Master Jedi? Are they just born with it? Let's learn more about the species.
Could be maybe.
We don't know anything about him.
Maybe it's Maybelline. I don't know if he's born with it.
We don't even know the name of what Yoda's species is.
I get it. And they were talking about doing a Yoda movie or a Yoda series. So I don't know if that's something they can do. I don't know if they're going to do. Yeah, I don't know. But those are very good questions. I know I also wanted to talk about Mikey. I don't have PS4 anymore. I sold mine back in December, but Mikey had texted me saying that they're coming out with a limited run of, I guess, an updated graphics wise and whatever for PS4, a combo of Jedi Outcast and Jedi Academy. I'd never played either game, but that's actually, I guess, kind of cool, because the last Star Wars game I got, which is I told you about, the Fallen Order, which I told you to get. It is really good. It is. I just wish they would release more like downloadable content to extend the story or do something, because, it was. Don't get me wrong, it was a long enough game to enjoy it, but I wanted more. I definitely wanted more.
It would be really cool if they came out with like a new version of the original like trilogy for like the new systems, like a really, really detailed version where you can play like the stories of the original.
That would be cool. I mean, that would take a while though, dude. Those games would have to be very big in
that'd be awesome though.
That would be cool to play as Luke Skywalker, Han Solo. You can choose your characters.
Right. Chewie or any of those characters. Yeah. I thought it would be really cool. And it doesn't have to be exactly the same as the movies, but baby scenes from the movie in there where you have to replay those scenes, and you have to like maybe fight Jabba in one of the scenes, or like you fight, obviously if you're Luke Skywalker, you fight Vader, or maybe a game where you can play as, remember how you could play the dark side in, what was it, Battlefront? You could play as Vader or as the Emperor.
I always play, as the dark side. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But I'm saying maybe make a game like that where you can play from both sides of it.
So the game
stays interesting. Well, no. I'm not talking about Battlefront. I'm talking about like the original series
Oh,
movies,
but
but
instead
you
of
could play
playing as the
both sides of it.
heroes, you can play
Right.
as the villains.
You
Gotcha.
could play as the villains too.
I
Right. And
gotcha.
it's two separate stories in the game. It would be a big game, but you know what? It'd be worth it, I think.
I don't know. I don't know if it would be. I'm not really a game programmer, so I don't know. I don't know what would be worth it or not. But I'm sure I'm hoping they're
I
going to
think I
have
think it
other
would
ideas.
sell. I think it would sell big because you'd appeal to both audiences.
Yeah.
So both audiences, the dark side fans and the Force fans would both be buying that game because they know
Right.
that they could just switch over and play it however they want. You
No,
know,
I get it. I get it.
you
But
know?
I do recommend Jedi Fallen Order
Mhm.
if you want to play a Star Wars game. Battlefront 2, I got tired of very quickly because I don't really play online. So once I finished the story mode, even after the DLC that they released, a couple of months afterwards, it was
Yeah, I
like,
don't really like. I don't really like the downloading that extra content stuff. I was never a big fan of that. I feel
well,
like once the game is
it
done,
adds to the
you're
story
just
though.
dragging it on.
No,
You know?
no, it adds to the story. It's kind of what I know it goes way off topic. It's kind of what I wish they would do with Grand Theft Auto. I know they were talking about how GTA 6, they're reporting that it might be anywhere between 5 and 7 years away. But in my eyes, look, you're doing so much with GTA Online, right? Why not just send out expansion packs for people? Downloadable content where people that like the story mode and don't play online, where you don't have to put so much production into a huge game like GTA 6 right away, and you can have things for people now.
Well, I'm gonna tell you the answer to that question. Why has PlayStation Store not made a reversion? What do you call it? A remastered version of I forget which one it is. The one with New York. Remember the Grand Theft Auto with New York in it?
Oh, that was the fourth one.
Yeah. What was
I
Grand Theft
wasn't
Auto?
crazy about that. That was actually my least favorite.
Yeah, but the funny thing is they've remastered every other one except for that one. But
Yeah,
I know
GTA 4.
Xbox
I don't
has
know
done it.
why, because that was for 360, right?
No. It was for both of them. It was for both
No, but I'm
PlayStation
saying that
and
was for
360.
360, right?
What do you mean? 360? No. They did remaster it for Xbox 360 or Xbox One. One of those things. They remastered it. But they have not remastered it yet for PlayStation 4. They remastered all the other ones for
Oh,
PlayStation 4 except for that one. I don't
I
understand
don't
why.
know. I don't know,
You
but
know?
I will say it's just weird that I got GTA 5 back in 2013.
Hmm.
Then I rebought it again the year later for Xbox One
Hmm.
for for the updated graphics, and I
Yeah.
beat it all over again. And I still play it to this day, but the thing is, it's 7 years since the original release. And
Well,
you're
I'll
saying
tell
we
you
have to
what's
wait another 5 to 7 years. And granted, I know it's because they were making Red Dead Redemption 2,
yeah.
which is another great game. But
Well, I'll tell you what's happening right now. This is nothing that should be talked about on Galactic Gossip.
yeah, definitely not. But we just went over. I was talking about video games or whatever. But
I know it's just straight off topic.
I guess I kind of hate that I sold my PS4.
Yeah.
But it's just that I was way too consumed with playing baseball, the show. So I just had to get rid of it. I agree. I like the original just because it was what kicked it off. It was the first game that I've ever played that was I mean, the first game that anybody's ever played that was like that. That open world, you're able to just beat anybody up on the street, go
Yeah.
fuck hookers, do
Yeah.
drugs. It was just a weird fucking game. It was crazy what
It's
they were able
awesome.
to
Yeah.
do. But
Well,
then
I mean,
you take the 80s music and then you add the 80s pastel colors and
push it to a limit. Yeah.
that Miami
Miami Vice.
that Miami vibe or the Miami feel because it's set in Miami,
Yeah.
I guess, right?
Well, yeah,
Well,
Vice
it
City is
says Vice
Miami.
City, but that was Miami. Those Miami colors.
Well, like Nick said, he said that's that's his hands down best one. It was good, but I'll tell you, I still like the one from New York because I liked going to the spots, and this is where I grew up, and I'm seeing all the areas that
What
you
do you
could go
mean
to,
this
and
is
it
where
was
you grow up? They had Coney Island and the Ferris wheel and shit like that. They didn't
no.
have
What are you talking
and the
about? They had
Brooklyn
World's
Bridge.
Fair. They had the World's Fair. They
Oh,
had
you're
the Hell's
right. They
Gate
did have
Bridge.
those. They did have the World's
Yeah,
Fair thing
they
from
had all those
Queens. You're
stuff
right.
in there.
You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. So I'm saying, be growing up in New York, and I mean, I never been to those places when I was a kid.
Well, no.
I mean, it's
I
the city I
understand.
grew up in.
I understand.
Manhattan. It was just really
Nick
cool.
said that San Andreas updated with GTA 5 graphics would be sweet. That is another thing too. I wish they would do something like that. I know it costs a lot, and I in the PS store when I had PlayStation, I actually owned all three of them, but they were still the same graphics. They weren't updated.
Right,
I
right.
would love an updated version, but they're not going to put money into that, especially if they're working on part 6.
It's so bad. It's so bad when you go back to one of these old games
Oh,
that were
it's
really good.
horrible. I was
It's
trying to play
horrible.
Vice
Yeah,
City and the original the
yeah,
third one.
yeah.
It looks they're so boxy and it's
It's
great.
so
It's
weird.
fun.
It's so weird. That only happens with like the modern games. Like when you do retro gaming, like NES or like those old systems,
Right.
you don't think of it that way. But when it's like something that was like a futuristic, like a 3D type game, the early 3D technology was awful. You know.
Well, I got to say, man, I would take ET on Atari any day.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, all you did was walk around
The neck.
and then stick your neck up. I
I
still
told you that
don't
was my
know
favorite Atari game.
what the fuck was the point of that fucking game.
There was no point to it. It was just
No.
because it was ET. You know.
All right, let's get off of the video games.
Yeah.
I actually I like this. I like this topic. I want to do this topic tomorrow. I
Yeah.
wanted to do. Don't forget. I did think of for our the live stream last week. I
Mhm.
thought about doing the your favorite. Oh wait, no, we did that. You, Mikey, and I did that already.
Yeah.
Our
Favorite
favorite
comic
video
book movie.
game for each
No, favorite
console.
video game for each console. We did that. Yeah.
Yeah, we did do that. Fuck.
That's why I said ET was the one for Atari.
For me, Berserk was
Yeah.
Atari, but I
You
already
said it
said
was
that.
Atari. Yeah, Berserk.
But anyways, yeah. So that's
Yeah.
coming out for Star Wars video game for PS4. I've never played that. You know, like I said, the last video game I did play Star Wars was a Jedi Fallen Order. I would love for them to do an updated version of The Force Unleashed. That was another video game for I think that was for PS2
Yeah.
or Xbox 360. No, 360. That I played. That was another one of my favorite Star Wars games. But
I think I played that one too.
any other Star Wars things you want to talk about before we end? Because we're a little over an hour.
Yeah. All right. Last thing I'm going to talk about is
Better be Star Wars related.
It's going to be Star Wars related. Before we cut out, is going to be due to the current situation, the collectibles. Big thing right now. I'm kind of hoping. I don't know. As I told you before, I pre-ordered 2 versions of the Child from the Mandalorian series. One of them was the sideshow life-size Child figure. I think that was like a $350 figure,
right?
Which you can rest assured within 5 years it's going to be going for $1,000. So
I would say $10,000.
No, let's be realistic. No,
Easily.
realistic. No, realistic. It's going to be $1,000 in about 5-6 years because that's how all sideshow statues and stuff.
They do go up.
They go up a lot. So,
yeah,
I got
even John confirmed PS3.
PS3.
But did you have John? You only had the second one because I never played that one. Did you have the original one too? I did correct myself. I knew it was for 360 and PS3, but I just couldn't remember obviously which one. But I don't know if you had. I thought you just had part 2, which I didn't like too much. It was too short of a game. You even said that.
Yeah,
it didn't last too long. That's what she said.
And the other thing I was saying about the other figure is the Hasbro one that they're coming out with, the animatronic. I ordered that one from Amazon.
Right. Yeah,
they're giving a date of December. I mean, I don't know how that's even possible. I mean, I'm hoping it's sooner than then because you would think, I know that now they started producing stuff again in China. I mean, I don't know if the item is going to be made in China. I'm assuming it will be because that's why I'm assuming everything was pushed off. They might make it somewhere else, depending on how their load is going to be with that.
That's what she said.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm just hoping that it's not going to be pushed off any further than that because what's going to happen if like the next Mandalorian comes out and then some stuff changes and then that's not what you know what I mean?
Well, it's funny that you actually said that. I didn't want to bring this up because, I don't know who's going to watch this. And, I'm sure I know there's a lot of people that love The Mandalorian, but there are rumors that Baby Yoda or the child is actually going to die in the first episode.
Yeah, that's not good.
And not even be an integral part of the show. So you might have just wasted your money for nothing.
Well, I think that's crazy. If the whole show was themed on him being protected, why would he die off in the first episode?
Well, what I was told by my sources, and I have none, I was told that the Mandalorian was actually Luke Skywalker the whole time. That Mark Hamill is actually going to be the Mandalorian.
How? They showed his face at the end. It's not Luke Skywalker.
No, I understand that, but there's a face behind that face that we didn't see.
What do you mean?
Dude, I'm fucking with you. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Oh, I thought you were being serious.
Did you not hear me say the sources that I don't have?
Oh, I really thought you were just like making shit up.
No.
I really thought you. That's all right. I feel better now because I'm like, don't tell me that the character.
The child dies.
There's no
in the
way
second,
they could kill. There's no way they could kill off Baby Yoda on the first episode. I just don't see it happening.
In the second episode, he dies. Yes.
No, I don't see it happening. It's the main character. The whole point of the Mandalorian is to protect Baby Yoda so they can live on. You know.
We can talk about really quick because this is an actual rumor, and I am not fucking around. And I know I can talk with a straight face, and you think I'm serious or not. But so, do you remember the one ending of the? I forgot which episode it was. I mean, I know which episode it was. I just can't remember the number of it. But it was the episode where that woman, the Asian bounty hunter or the Asian assassin gets killed, and her body's laying, and somebody goes up to her at the end of the show, and you hear spurs, the sound of spurs, but you don't see who it is. You just see the feet or the legs. That was rumored then, and it's still rumored now that that's actually going to be Boba Fett.
Yeah, it would make sense because he was like a Mandalorian.
Yeah, but I know. But I mean, if you remember, Boba Fett was, until it was retconned in either in a book or a comic book, Boba Fett died in Return of the Jedi, and the Mandalorian is set after the Return of the Jedi. Remember, he got thrown into the Sarlacc pit.
In the pit, yeah,
he fell into the Sarlacc pit, but he actually escapes in a comic or a book. So he's alive, and it's canon that he's alive, I believe. So there are rumors that that's going to be Boba Fett in the show, which
that's
could
kind
make
of weird because they portrayed him as dying in the movie. But once again, it's like just like the Emperor, you know.
Yeah, I mean, but it could make the series, dude. It could make the series more interesting. And Boba Fett, look, George Lucas did not know at the time, as well as a lot of things that happened in the original trilogy. Lucas did not know that Boba Fett was going to become such an iconic character to a lot of people. It was going to be a fan favorite. So had he known that, he would not have killed him off in such a humorous way where fucking Han Solo, who's half blind, is like this to Chewie. Chewie's telling him that Boba Fett's behind him. He's like, Boba Fett? Boba Fett? Where? Turns around, then fucking hits him.
It hits him.
Yeah. So nobody knew. He didn't know back then. So that's why he was killed off like that. But then they brought him back. So look.
Yeah.
Look, if you see that, and if you see some Jedi, everybody wants to see a lightsaber or whatever. Obviously, you saw the dark saber that was wielded by Esposito's character. His full name eludes me. It's bothering me because I met him in real life. Fuck. Whatever, it doesn't matter. The series finale, you saw him wield the dark saber, which was cool. So it would be cool to see an actual lightsaber battle in the Mandalorian season 2. I have high hopes for that season. I think it's in great hands. With Filoni, with what Jon Favreau's doing, Deborah Chow, she directed I think at least 2 episodes of the first season. I'm really hoping she does more. She was poised to direct the Obi-Wan series. I don't know if that's still in play or not, but I hope it is because she did do a really good job. But and that's that, man.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to talk about? We got another. I think we can go if you want to go like another 12 minutes just to make it an even, or another 11 minutes just to make it an even hour and a half. Yeah, that would be good. Yeah. I guess look, if you had to pick, because we basically said a lot of things. Mm-hmm. Whether it's characters or what we want to see in the Mandalorian season 2, Skywalker movie with the fall of Ben Solo, or just a young Skywalker in general. Anything that's possible or rumored to be coming, or just something that you want in general. What would you choose if you had to pick one to be released in the future? It has to be live action though, nothing animated.
Like I said before, I think I would want to see a Yoda movie.
You would rather see Yoda over a Luke Skywalker movie, a younger Luke Skywalker movie, like Return of the Jedi young.
Well, like I said in the beginning, Yeah, I originally said I wanted to see like a Luke Skywalker what he did before, but then you said to me, "Well, there really wasn't much. He didn't even know he was a Jedi. He just was kind of living like on that farm or whatever,
No,
you know,
no,
doing
no, no.
whatever."
You said pre New Hope.
Yeah, that's what I
I'm
meant.
talking about after Return of the Jedi.
Oh, yeah, that'd be
Because
interesting
he's
to
a
find
Jedi
out.
master. He's an actual
Right,
Jedi then.
to see what goes on before he ends up in exile. You mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Like the things
Well,
that he
that
does.
would kind of I think that would fit into the Ben Solo kind of thing, like you were saying before. You know,
Jerry's very right. Jerry, you know what it is when you're talking about stuff you're passionate about, or whether you're just hanging out with friends that you don't get to see, obviously because of
that's
what's
great.
going on.
Yeah.
You know, but just for you, Jerry, I'm going to try. It's 10 minutes actually on the dot now, 9 minutes and 57 seconds. I'm going to try to stop. I'm going to try to keep my mouth shut. It's also hard because Mike does like to talk as well.
It is a talk show.
Yeah, it is. Well, yeah, you are right. It is a talk show. It's not a talk a lot show, but
got to keep people interested here.
yeah, you got to keep people interested, but also at the same time, as I said, when you're talking about something that you're excited about, or or whatever, you're gonna overtalk. But so I still think I still would rather see a young Luke. If not what they're actually proposing to do, which is set 5 years before The Force Awakens and do the story of the fall of Ben Solo. Now they did do that in the comic book series that I have, the 4-issue comic book series, The Rise of Kylo Ren. They do show you. They already tell pretty much the story of how Ben Solo falls.
Mm-hmm.
But I would love to see it on the big screen. I would. And I would prefer a series. I wish Disney Plus would do that. If not, my pick would be also the Darth Vader series.
Right.
Look who's saying
Oh,
hello.
hey, Elena's here and Matt.
They're watching us,
What's up,
of
guys?
course. And that's the other thing too, Jerry. You're forgetting that happens. People come on later on, and we want to keep it going for them.
You know, I wish they would have got on a little earlier because
Even Derek's telling us to keep it going. That's what she said.
I don't know how much I could keep it going, Derek. We're going to do another show tomorrow, guys.
Yeah, we're gonna do,
be,
and it's gonna be more
Galactic Gossip.
It's gonna be more of an open topic tomorrow. We're gonna do stuff that's relatable to, well, hopefully relatable to mostly you guys. So we are gonna come on live tomorrow at 8 with another series that's not Star Wars. If you're really not into Star Wars, and we can talk more with you guys and even get your opinions, and we can even talk about what you guys want to talk about. Might be something that you guys it might have been something that that you wanted to vent about in your day or whatnot. But
right, or something that you thought of when we were talking about in this episode. Bring it up tomorrow. Come back in, text us, let us know.
Nick's saying he's on the edge of his seat. Keep it up. Well, he said Jeep it up.
Oh, Jeep it up, guys.
We're gonna Jeep it up. Snooze, you lose.
Yeah, that's right. I want to say one thing. I see a lot of guys, a lot of people have icons on their avatars, and some people don't. I wish that everybody would get avatars, for the future, so we can see a picture of who we're talking to. It looks good on when we put up the comment. You see how you see Jerry.
I agree, Jerry. I agree.
Yeah.
And Jerry, and by the way, coincidentally, he's got an icon. Nick, we're gonna do 8 o'clock tomorrow. That's what we're gonna. Well, I say 8 o'clock, but most likely we're probably gonna go with these guys. It's probably gonna be around 8:15. But we're shooting for 8 p.m. and ideally, right now, we're gonna have me, Mike, and a couple of our other friends.
Yeah. Well,
so
if any of you guys want to jump on, it's all it takes is a laptop or a phone with a good connection, and you get right on with us. We'll have other guests on the show if you guys want to do it.
If it's anybody I know personally or Mike knows, and the reason why I say that, I'm not saying that I would never want anybody I don't know. It's just that I have to be able to either email you or text you the link to come on here. But yeah, like Mike said, all you really need is a phone or a laptop webcam. It works either way, and preferably a good connection. That way you're not cutting out the whole time.
Right.
But and you guys can come on the show. I can have up to 6 people. This could be a 6-man or 6-man and woman orgy. So I'm looking forward to it. That would be an awesome Galactic Gossip, right?
Yeah. I mean, it wouldn't be called Galactic Gossip. It would be called something else.
Galactic Gilgo.
Gilgo Beach Killer? What?
Dude, don't even make fun of that. Rest in peace, bro.
No, just saying, bro.
I just watched a Netflix series about that. The beach,
That's
the
crazy.
killings of at
We
Dildo Beach.
I think we might know who that is.
I don't, dude. We are
No,
so far.
You don't. But
People there are probably people on this show that are either going to watch this, either watching this live or going to watch it later on and be like, "Where the fuck is the Star Wars? I don't want to hear Star Trek. Where the fuck is this shit?"
Luke, get your ass over here, Luke.
Darth fucking Vader. All right, well, guys, look. Nearing 5 minutes, Jerry. I'm eyeing it. We're gonna probably end a little sooner. Actually, I want to. I just say one thing. No, but I really want to plug tomorrow. I really want everybody that's on here now, especially because I know. Thank you guys for staying as long as you did. I appreciate it. I know. Yeah, I know Mike appreciates it too. I love the feedback. I love the comments. I love talking to you guys. But tomorrow will be a non-Star Wars show. You know, it's going to be a bunch of us guys just talking, shooting the shit, random. Gilgo Killer for life. You know, random topics that either I think of or anybody else thinks of. And if you guys think, you know, if you got some ideas and you want to go over it, you want us to talk about it, we will. Thank you for watching. Which one did you watch last night? Did you watch the last one I did? The one with me, Mike, Mikey, and my friend Rosie? Because that was fun. I enjoyed having Rosie on. I tried to get her on for tomorrow. I think she's busy, or maybe she just didn't really like the style of the show.
I'm gonna go with she didn't like it because we do get a little quarantine. You're really not that busy.
We do get a little raunchy. We do, and
much for her. Yeah.
My embarrassing moments or stories probably shouldn't have been said on air.
Yeah.
I'm gonna blame the bottle of wine that I consumed that night. Even though that was premeditated, I was going to say those stories anyway. And if anybody knows me personally, knows I don't really give a shit. I make an ass of myself in public all the time. So why would this be any different? But, you know, I'm not for everybody. But
what I was going to say before was I thought it was pretty ironic that you're like a Dark Side fan and I'm like a Force fan. And it just happens to be that I'm wearing the Empire's Most Wanted shirt and you're wearing the Darth fucking Vader shirt. It's just perfect.
It is. And Nick wants you to text him tomorrow.
Yeah. I'm a busy man. When I get the thing, I'll do the same thing I did today. I'll throw the link in tomorrow to the group chat that I did today, and I'll let you guys know what time we're planning on going on. And
you mean the link to the YouTube, right?
Yeah, the YouTube link. Yeah. I'll just redo that again. Or you guys still have the link in? It's going to be the same link for them to watch.
It's the same link because it's a link to my channel. So if you guys go on that, but so just remind them.
Subscribe. The better thing is to subscribe to the channel in YouTube. Press the subscribe button and give us a like.
Also, I was about to say that I really don't push that enough. I do want subscribers. Don't get me wrong, and I love the chat, but also too those likes. For some reason, YouTube sees that and they not that they make me more official. I honestly don't know what it does, but I think it does something to my to the algorithm where the stream will be will show up in more people's feeds. So if you guys can hit that like button too, that'd be great.
Yeah. Also, if you subscribe, you'll get the notifications when we're doing
no, you have to. If you subscribe, no, not automatically. So in order to get notifications for every time I stream, and I don't know if you want to do that because it might be a stream that you really don't care about, but if you hit the subscribe button, there's also a bell. It looks like a bell. You have to turn the notifications on. That way, whenever I post that I'm going live or I'm going to go on, you guys will get get a notification through YouTube. So
it used to go on automatically.
It's not. You have to turn. You have to have notifications turned on for each individual channel you follow.
Yeah, that's
so. But so yeah, guys, if you want to join me, Mike, as of now, it's going to be me, Mike, Mikey Coleman, and if James is feeling well tomorrow because he's also had some allergy problems. If James Mooney feels better tomorrow, we'll at least have 4 people on tomorrow, so we can talk. We could talk more general topics and stuff like that.
Yep.
And movie talk. But Mike, I want to thank you for coming on. I want to thank each and every person that commented. I hope to see you guys tomorrow in the live chat. Again, if you haven't subscribed, do so. Hit that notification button only if you want to get reminders of when I'm going to go live. And hit that like button too, because as I said, YouTube recognizes the channel more if the more likes each stream has. But this has been another episode 4 of Galactic Gossip. Just Your Average Joe with me and Mike Castelli. And Mike, seriously, thanks for being on. Or should I say Luke Skywalker?
Buddy. That's right.
Hi, Luke. But I'll see you guys tomorrow, 8 p.m. We're going to do another live stream, another group live stream. So set your clocks. Set your clocks and mind your cocks. All right, guys. Have a good night. Mike, I'll talk to you in a little bit.
All right, guys. May the force be with you.
Always.